are making the publishers furious about this program as much as they need and want it, of course. And now you already mentioned another thing that we want to tackle next, which is the EUPL, so the European Union Literary Prize. This is a prize which was introduced by the European Union to promote even more the various quality literary fiction titles in various European countries. We won't get into the details now on how the EUPL winners of the specific countries are chosen in these countries. We will not get into that because it wouldn't make any sense, because every country has a different system to choose these winners, and there has been a lot of discussions on how objective these systems are. But nevertheless, we do have the EUPL winners, and so far we already have 83 of them, right, Matea? And these are the titles which get additional points in the applications. So the applicants are in a way being almost forced, yes, to use a nice word, they're encouraged. Actually, they're being forced from year to year more intensively to pick EUPL titles in order to make their application successful. This is, of course, for a winning author, a very good thing, because the novel really gets translated. It does its rounds, we have to admit it. And we are also welcoming today Gabriela Babnik, who is one of the winners of this prize, and she will now shortly comment also on this. But I would firstly maybe want to hear from you, publishers, on what do you think on this additional points for these titles. Do you feel it has an impact on your editorial decisions if you want to get the grant? And yes, how do you feel about it? Because the opinions are very, very various in this.
This is controversial, really. I can say that Mladinska knjiga, until now, we never applied with any of the European Prize Award winners until now. And it kind of, I don't know, at the end we always went through without these additional points. The fact is that this number of these points is changing all the time. At the moment it stands on 15 points. That means if you do not include any of the European award winners, you don't get 15 points, so you start instead of 100 points with 85 points, and it's not very likely that you will get through, even if your application is perfect. The problem of this prize starts with the name. It's called European Literature Prize, whereas in reality there are European literature prizes, because there are 12 prizes given every year. That reminds me of some practices in the former Yugoslavia, when all the republics had to be satisfied at the same time. Well, I'm a bit cynical here. I would just like to say that I'm sure that most of the winners are deserved winners. So I will not like to problematize this, and I also understand the aim of the European Union. Since they have this award, they would like to promote it as heavily as possible and use all the existing channels, and this is this is the convenient channel for them to force publishers to publish these books. But this also adds to some problems which were mentioned by CED, and it's again, as I said, controversial and contradictory thing, because these are in effect national awards, which are then given approval by European Union. So it's really problematic, and as the EU translation grant initiative is undefined, this price and the whole process is even more undefined. And the developments are not adding to this thing being more clarified. On the contrary, it's getting more and more muddy. Thanks.
I will first just mention something from previous question about these translations to bigger languages, or to more often used languages. Well, we solved this problem with partial translations of Slovenian authors that we then use for promoting them to foreign publishers, and everything was fine with letters. But about this prize, I can tell you, this year you had to have more than 82 points. That was the limit. So, for example, our publishing house, we were also unsuccessful this year, but we would go through if we would add 2 additional prize winners. So, but then it's like we applied with 5 books, so it's 3 books from EU and 2, it's our decisions. So then you question yourself, what's the point if you just make some bureaucratic decisions and no editor decisions?
I don't like to be forced in anything, that's why I'm working in my own publishing house. The thing with this prize bothered me a lot. I did a research before we applied for the grant in 2015. I asked my colleague publishers in other countries if the prize winners are the top of, I didn't get answers. I can't say as Andrei, I don't trust very much in those books, but we decided for one book that won a prize, the only book that was written for young adults, because we are publisher mainly for children and young adults, and we applied for a young adults program. And it was a Latvian book. It was first Latvian book for children and young adults translated into Slovene language. And we had so many problems with this book to publish it, with false promises from the publisher, with too late text in French. They promised us we could translate from French because there were nobody that would translate it from Latvian. Slovenia is so small that there is no Latvian translator. We couldn't find it, no way. And at last, I went to see the results of sales and readings of this book. They're not so high as are of other books. But I read that book in English when I decided for it. It is a book that goes into our program. I decided for that book on this basis, not on the basis of the price, but because I estimated that the book is good enough to go into our program.
I will say something positive about the prize. I'm very happy that we have this Maltese award winner, Pierre Melak. I chose it because it fitted perfectly in our program, and I'm really happy about it, because otherwise, if it's not for the award, I wouldn't be able to know about this author and wouldn't be able to read it, because it was translated into English with his help, which was, for me, it was a compromise, but still something that I would be okay with We translated it from English for the lack of Maltese Bulgarian translator, of course, because there's no one. On the downside, in Bulgaria now, 80 of these 83 authors are sold out. So for the next year, we wouldn't have a chance to...
You already translated all of them.
Bulgarian publishers bought it. Yeah. So, so I'm not sure if it's 80, but okay, 79. If you get through the list, I
You're
was...
really the number one.
And we discussed with Jan yesterday that it was the same in Macedonia, as far as I hear. On the day when last year's awards were announced, they were sold out the next day. You see, we were writing emails, is it book free? And they said, no, 10 Bulgarian publishers are auctioning.
Waiting, and then the next second the rights.
Auctioning, or they go into auction by the agents. So this is really, and it's real. I don't know how it will be next year, but if a new country for the project, this year I saw 2 publishers from, if I'm not mistaken, Albania and Armenia. Their project were 10 award-winning authors, something like this. So the whole project was consisting of 10 authors. So they will win without anything else.
Yes, it is true that in Macedonia this happens as well. The very day the award is announced, everyone is writing emails and giving their offer to the agents. So it leaves no time for the publishing house to review the books and to decide which one would fit the possible project. So this is one thing that is bothering, and the other thing is that the advances of these books, the sums that we are paying for these books, which by the way is not an eligible cost in the project. It's twice the sum of that we normally pay. So it's really an issue for us. But for the national literary scene, for example, for the Macedonian authors that won the award, it's really a positive thing, and we are glad that we see our authors published in bigger countries, because we usually have cooperation with our neighbor states, Serbia, Bulgaria, Croatia, and some of our authors are translated there. Either by a friendly, in this regard, or but with the award, many of the winning authors were translated throughout the continent. So it's a positive thing for a smaller country as Macedonia.
So it's really great to have another prize like the EUPL, but I don't really agree with this plus points in the application, because I think there's some favoritism with this prize. However, it's not always such a good selection, I think. Just for instance, we've chosen Milan Ruskov, the Bulgarian author's EUPL winning title. We contacted with the author, and Milan asked us not to publish his award-winning title. He was really surprised that he won with this title, because he thinks that it's not so such a good book, and sorry.
It's untranslatable.
Yeah, and he asked us to translate another from him, and so yeah, I don't know.
What did you do?
Yeah, we published in September his other book, and it's really nice novel. So I guess if it's necessary to support the EUPL prize, then it would be better than if we can choose only from the authors and not just the titles. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, and we of course we choose at least maybe 2 titles per year in our selection from these books, but year by year it's becoming more difficult to choose one in what we believe or something.
Almost everything is already said about that prize. So you have the plus. The plus is for the authors because they can be more translated, more visible, and that is good. For the publisher, it is problematic because sometimes you need time to read it, to review it, to decide does it fit to your program or not. And I think that the biggest problem is with the last, I think, 2 applications. It is way too many points for that. So it needs to be maximum 4 to 5 points, so 4 to 5%. If you have that, it couldn't affect your application. If you have it 15%, so without anyone, you cannot go through. So that is the only fact. So if you, as you said in Goga, have 5 books and then you need to have 3 books, that means that you need to think only on your prize winner, which is always, as Andres said, national prize. It is only had that brand of European Union. It is national prize, and that is no one from the other countries ever see before it is translated. So that is also fact. So you have various kind of the books, and that is not a problem of the prize, because in every prize you have sometimes juries making mistakes, sometimes they making good things. It is not from various countries. It is, you are not quite sure it is for the emerging authors or it is already established authors. So you have all of those kind of the problems on the national level, and that is, I think, that must not be so affect on application. So 5% it's maximum. I think that could be given for the your prize winner. So that means for the book, if you have 10 books, half point. Croatia half point, and so on.
Almost every publisher pointed out that it is a very good thing for the authors themselves. They really get translated, they get visibility on another level, and it can emerge their translational careers, so the author's career abroad, by this book which is awarded, but the author is then afterwards maybe also considered with his other works, as we had the example with the Bulgarian author. So I would like for Gabriela to comment on the prize, what it meant for the book Sušna doba, Dry Season, and how it changed maybe the life of this book, and maybe also what opportunity it gave to you as an author to be more seen, to travel more, to take part in literary festivals, events, and maybe what it means or doesn't mean for your other works.
Actually, for me, it was a process, this award. And I agree with most of you that there's a lot of confusion. You know, at first I was told that I'm actually nominated. So till September it was a secret team, so I was guessing what it is actually. And then you hear that there is some kind of committee in a half a private room which decides, you know, which book. And meanwhile, the award was promised to somebody else because they didn't read well the instruction. So it's a lottery. So I just went in Brussels and I said, okay, fine, I'm going, you know, for this award. And then it was actually a huge thing, you know, these high walls and this palace and all this thing. And meanwhile, I also heard that this award, it's like an award with a meaning, you know, because of all these translations. So yes, I mean, you get very thrilled, you get enthusiastic. I mean, the translations, the applications are coming. Some of them you are following, some you cannot. But the interesting thing which happens actually, I mean, by the way, like Serbian translation was very bad. I was completely dissatisfied because they just completely changed the book. But like the most successful translation is English translation, which was not even done through EU award. You know, it was done in a different way by Belletrina Edition House, and it's actually this. I invested myself in translator, and this book is really going far. I mean, the English translation, because it's really good. While in Serbia, I just got this really feeling that they just made it to get, you know, the money, and me I get that I publish in Serbian. But what is interesting for me is because the book is going on in Ouagadougou, in Burkina Faso, in West Africa. So even these critics from England, it's like, oh, this author is not fulfilling what we are expecting from somebody who is coming from Eastern European country, you know, because it's about Africa, so it's, you know, it's bizarre. But to me as an author, in a mental sense, it's quite important to go beyond this little swimming pool of Slovenia because of this multicultural, international, and it's actually fictionally written in French, so you see. And it has this Slovenian layer, it has English layer, it has French layer, it has a local African language layer, so I am glad, I am grateful that it came to all these levels. And you get other public. I mean, recently I was just in Paris reading at UNESCO. It was the Slavic Forum, and you know, you had this opportunity to explain to the people, we from Eastern European country can have non-imperial view on Africa. We are inventing new kind of whiteness, you know, if I'm a little bit exaggerating. So it does opens new aspects to the novel, more to the novel than to me. But on the other hand, I am grateful for this award, of course I am very grateful. But till now I wrote 5 books, and I think Dry Season is not my best book actually. Yes, in some parts it's good, but in some parts it's not. So I wouldn't be translated. I wouldn't be translated, of course, if it isn't this EU award, at least not in Hungarian, in Croatian, in Albanian, and all these things, perhaps not even Italian. German translation is not yet done. But I would like to see my other novels, which are more wild, which are more poetic, which are more beautiful, you know. I think at the 5th novel, the 4th novel, actually, I'm becoming a writer, you know, because it's also a process, you are learning. So Dry Season, yeah, it's nice, it's very nice, but I would also like to see my other novel to be translated. And you know, it's a tricky thing because you shouldn't complain. You have to be grateful, of course, you know. You are translated in 10 languages. You got your piece of cake, so what are you complaining? But what I would really like to see my latest novel, Intimate, you know, because it's really about racism, about migration in this Eastern European space. What can I complain? I mean, I shouldn't complain anything. Yeah, but I agree with all of you what you said at the end of the day. And of course, I'm grateful to be translated in all those languages. Even though I'm really scared that this dry season will become my destiny.